Today, we're going to throw out the lifeline to our friend Sarah. Say hi, Sarah.
Hi, Joe and OG. This is Sarah from Richmond, Virginia. I called a while back, and I definitely wouldn't want to ruin your reputation with the other listener by implying that I learned anything. So I'll just say I've been working out a lot at the gym, and it's time for that double XL t-shirt. Anyways, my question is this. In my job at work, I've been assigned a role to help some individuals with some very fundamental aspects of finance. Some of these individuals are unbanked, and one of the first lessons I want to talk about is opening a checking account. I'm less concerned about finding something with a high interest rate and more interested in finding banks with accounts that don't have minimum balance requirements or direct deposit requirements in order to avoid fees. These individuals do not necessarily have high incomes, and some of them struggle a little bit with technology. So online banks are not necessarily the best option. What would you suggest? Should I look at local credit unions? Should I consider big banks and try to find accounts that don't have fees or requirements? Does that even exist? I'd love to hear your thoughts and look forward to my double XL t-shirt. Bye.
Sun's out, guns out, Sarah.
Wow.
Sounds like Sarah's been really working out. Congratulations. And Sarah bragging about the gym, a little nice flex there. But you know what, Sarah? We're just going to send you a code so you can just brag to all your friends about the badass swag that you got from the Stacking Benjamin show, whatever size you want. But OG, there's some good news here for Sarah, because I know that even some of the big banks lately have begun waiving this very onerous overdraft fee. Like I've seen this in the news a lot the last 3 weeks, which is surprising and about flipping time.
Yeah, I think that some of those kind of nuisance things are going away. The problem that I think that Sarah's going to run into here is kind of the best of both worlds. I want to be able to go to the bank and take advantage of all the services of the in-person stuff without paying any costs associated with that. And the reason that there's such a change to online, and you're seeing more and more banks getting rid of, fees associated with monthly account minimums and that sort of thing, is because the cost structure of being online is a lot different. And so if you can't use the technology side of it, you're going to run into an issue of, a per check caching fee, or, a $10 monthly service fee just for not having direct deposit or something like that in the vast majority of cases. So, even the credit union that we belong to has, I don't know, $7 or something like that a month for their banking, relationship if you don't have direct deposit. So I don't think that you can do both. I think you have to adopt one of those things. You either have to say like, well, we're going to take advantage of the technology, so we're going to use mobile deposit, and we're going to find a bank that, is online, and then I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Or it's going to be, I think, quite an uphill battle to search through, whatever's in your area to find a branch that is willing to, get rid of all of those extra costs, because you're going to be taking advantage of, in-person stuff, the stuff that we're trying to get rid of. There's, if they want to still support it, that's totally fine, but it's got to cost something. And usually they do that in minimum, balances or something. So,
and I got to amend what I said. Bank of America did not get rid of their fees. They trimmed them from 35 to 10. Their overdraft fees. They eliminated non-sufficient fund fees, along with fees for a program that lets customers automatically transfer money from one account to another to cover overdrafts. They were going to charge you for that.
Yeah, that was the $35 that
Yeah. Wells Fargo the same day said that it would ease up on fees by eliminating NSF fees and transfer fees and give customers a one-day grace period to avoid the overdraft. And Chase, the nation's largest bank, said in December it would add a one-day grace period to avoid overdraft fees and also provide customers earlier access to money they get via direct deposit. Online banks, to your point, OG, largely have gotten rid of a lot of those already. And there's a lot of exciting options.
I know this is a topic I'm maybe giving a spoiler alert for Friday's show. There's some banking discussion going on, but the stuff that drives me crazy is how you know, if you go to deposit your check, they're like, yeah, cool, you can have the money in 2 days. It's like 2 days. The money, if I write a check from myself to myself in one, you know, from one account to another, I can see it leave the account that night. You know what I mean? If I want to send, I can send my brother $10,000 on Apple Pay in 4 seconds. Like, why in the heck can't I transfer money from one bank to another without it taking 2 freaking days? You know?
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because if they, you know, that extra 1 day, hold on to your money without letting you use it, that extra 1 day multiplied by, you know, 30 million customers, multiplied by all the transactions that happen, gets Bank of America or whatever bank, you know, that extra little bit of margin every single day.
Yeah. OG, that is part of the reason. Another part of that, the reason why, hey, I can transfer money between my accounts and I can see it immediately, or I can transfer money to a friend of mine and I can see that it, you know, it's there. But to actually do the transfer of funds, it's such a high level of data processing that they need to do that at night to allow for their systems to handle the volume of data and transactions that's happening during the daytime for their all their, call it, retail customers. They have to hold some of that to process overnight. So that is part of the reason why a lot of that happens, at least with 1 day. Now, why they need 2 days, I think that what you just said, I think factors in, but there is a reason for the overnight. It has to do with their ability to process all of those transactions. And
well,
not
in 25 years ago, when you were writing a check, you had to physically deliver the check to the bank. I mean, that was the old school way of doing it. So yeah, it would take, remember when you could like write a check for your water bill and be like, I've got till Monday to get that money in there, you know? Because you knew it took so long for the bank to process like literally process the check.
Yeah.
And then in the mid 2000s, they came out with the ability to, you didn't have to actually physically present the check to the receiving institution or paying institution to get funds. You could do it electronically. To your point, Doug, now the processing power went up a bajillion fold, and but nevertheless, it doesn't have to be 2 days. It doesn't have to be 3.
It doesn't have to be.
It can be at worst, it could be overnight. And I might throw a little bit of shade on your processing power because
I totally would.
My God, if
we can front run trades.
No, but it's not. It's not about the power of the CPU. Let's say it has to do with what has to go. They have to batch up all of those transactions in a way that the receiving bank needs to have them. And can you do that instantly and on each and every transaction? Yes, you can, but you also have millions and millions and millions of other transactions that are happening during the day that do need to be more real time, or that their expectation is that they are more real time, whether it's actual retail stores or business to business and other transactions that need to happen or that they want to have happen immediately during the day. There is extra steps that need to go on from a data perspective to package that data up in the way so that Bank of America can package it in a way to send it to another bank in the way that they need to receive it. It's not about the CPU power. It's about all of the effort and massaging that has to happen
so that the other bank can rearrange those in a way so they can maximize the overdraft expense for the customer. That's exactly what happens in my bank.
Look, I'm not trying to defend them. Don't get me wrong here. I'm just saying there's more to it than just the nefarious, we want to make a couple extra bucks off you. It's in there. I totally agree that that's baked in, but there's also some more,
and there's no incentive to fix it.
There's no incentive to
there's incentive to make sure your commodity trader on the 17th floor can have, fiber optic trading powers to make an extra penny per trade.
Absolutely.
Instantaneously. Yeah. But there's no incentive to make sure that, Doug's check to OG is cashed in a reasonable time to make it so that OG doesn't overdraft.
Once again, OG has gotten to the bottom of this. I think that's an excellent point. Is the capability is there. There's just not the motivation.
But I think the lesson here, Sarah, is it's not about the name of the bank. It's about the questions that you need to ask about what are the fees on these different types of transactions. What's the usability? How easy is it to use? I'm with you on credit unions. Obviously, we like credit unions. That's why Navy Federal is a sponsor of the show, is because we really like credit unions and the value add that they give to not just their members, but if you know how credit unions work, they're also owners. So I'm a big fan there as well. But I think it's mostly, OG, about the questions you ask.
Yeah, there would be one other thing that I would mention, which would be to say you might be able to create a program on your own if it's a big enough group and go to go to a community bank or go to the credit union and say, hey, our organization is trying to do this thing and we need your help with it. Can you create a program that's
Oh,
special
that's a good
for our
idea to help
organization?
teach people. Yeah.
And
Like
and
make
there
it a
might be
community
something,
outreach kind of
there
thing.
might be something that you can,
It's a great idea.
that a local community bank or credit union might be interested in.
Yeah. Imagine the upside for them as well. That helps everybody. Thanks for that question. If you've got a question for us, head to stackingbenjamins.com/voicemail, and you'll leave your email there so that Gertrude can also send you whatever size shirt you want, made by our good friend Brad, who I'm sporting actually from our store, stackingbenjamins.com/store, the mug today for the From the Basement 50s show with OG, That Lovable Scamp. I think it's my favorite part of that one.
Is there anything obscene on the bottom of that mug?
There is nothing. We should put a little like something on the bottom of the mug though.
That's
That'd
disappointing.
That'd be as if we do things like, have hidden tracks on shows, but we don't do any of that. So